10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Don't you go touching those television sets, ladies and gentlemen, because this is a radio show. Why would you do that? You can't turn off television with radio. Even though it's supposed to be the other way around in how I said it. It's not going to do much. And either way, you can't stop this broadcast from going into your household entertainment devices. I think I'm legally required to say that you can just by Xing out of a browser. But that destroys the fun for both of us, really. As we are back here with North American Harness Update, no more traveling, no more locations aside from the ones we're usually at. I'm back in my homestead with a half-working mic stand. For those of you watching the video stream, this mic stand is in fact busted. Either that or it is ready for use on a track and field javelin event. I am joined here, as I usually am, by Mike Brebozy and Ron Allen Jr., who I'll be bringing on in a second, as I don't know what I did, but now this won't, that's because it goes on this way. There we go. I don't know, I'm trying to act like I can fix it, it's already broken. Now we have Mike Brebozy, Ron Allen Jr., they are vocal, they are loud, they're not really that loud, but they can be heard, their voices can be heard, because it was election season this week. It was the end of election season this week, and guys, unfortunately, my campaign for president did not work. I got 0 votes. People were telling me it's because it wasn't a presidential election year, and I told them you just didn't believe hard enough in my message, and that's why I am not the president of the United States right now. But nonetheless, we can always try again next year, as they always say. Mike, Rod, how you guys doing though tonight?
Amazing.
I'm good.
Mike's working but good. Rod, I assume, is not working, and therefore he is the scum of America.
Yes, I am not working, but unfortunately, right now, I have to run this show, so I am working a little bit.
Where's your video, Rod?
My video's up.
I was gonna say, you say unfortunately as if you have to do this. From day one, I told you were not getting paid because I don't have the funds for that. You can come on if you want. I don't care. I would either way be here on this Friday night, either talking about racing or talking about tasty cake snack cakes and why exactly they're ruining the ecosystem. I can find many things to talk about over the course of 2 hours. It just so happens when both of you are here, I'm forced to talk harness racing. And I honestly think that makes Ray a dull boy. But we're not here. We're not here to make references to scary movies. It's Thanksgiving time. We're all about that Christoph Colombo man as we roll into Pick 4 action at the Raceway at Western Fair District. I'm just going to act like Christoph Colombo and Western Fair have some sort of relation for that segue to work. Their Pick 4 sequence is getting started in just a couple of minutes. It's a $5,000 guaranteed pool, starting off with a condition trotting event. I was going to try and read the condition, but there's so many words to it that I also am just learning that I don't know.
It's non-winners of 40,000 lifetime.
Well, there's more to it than that. It's like F&Ms are allowed 5,500. If you raced 2 weeks in Texas, you get a 6-pound allowance. There's all kinds of other conditions in there just to try and fill the box. There is a scratch in the 6. Great name. I didn't actually... Keepall. Keepall's not in the race? I don't know how you can bet this now. But I'm assuming Rod has our tickets slide showing on the video feed. Mike, I want to start with you. You have all 4 legs of this ticket because you have a Pick 4 ticket listed with us. Just kind of give us a glimpse of your strategy for the sequence. It's short fields. How do you try and get a price in a lot of these races that look fairly obvious?
Well, I'm kind of short early, and I'm hoping for a price late. I think the last two races are fairly wide open. The first two races, maybe not so much. They look a little bit chalky, so we'll see. I'll go short early and long late, and maybe try to catch something that pays more than $20.
And now if you go over to our website, NAHUpicks.com, or if you're on our website, NAHUpicks.com right now, first things first, don't go to that website while you're watching this stream. That's just counterproductive for both of us.
It's on our website. It's streaming live on our website.
That's the other thing, is you can just watch it on our website too, but Rod, you got to do this thing called Let Me Finish My Sentences. Now, I was trying to introduce you as a very noble and attractive man, but now I got to downgrade it a touch just because I don't like being interrupted. Rod
you can
is
take
our
away the noble
for the Raceway at Western Fair District. Only one person can talk at a time, Rodney. Rod is our handicapper at the Raceway, for the Raceway at Western Fair District over at NAHUpicks.com. And now, Rod, as much as you are showing me right now, I should not trust your opinion. Now tell me why your contenders for this Pick 4 sequence are better than Mike's and I's. Mike and me's. Mike and Ike's.
Yeah, close. Well, I mean, this first leg, I think we're all on the same page here with the 1, 2, and 7. The second leg, I'm pretty chalky again. I think that race is pretty simple to look at. The third leg, I'm 3 deep. It's a little more wide open. I do like a long shot there in the 6, Jake Parrish. He's got a shot. Just needs a few things to happen in front of him to be able to win that race. He's a 7-1 morning line. And the last race is wide open. There's a couple scratches there, including the morning line favorite, Little Red Chev. So if you are trying to play this ticket, I think you go a little bit chalky early and spread out as deep as you can late in the sequence and look for the prices there.
Well, right now, one thing that's standing out is in this first leg, all three of us used the 7 Member Me, who is currently 11-1 on the board. Oh, you didn't? Okay, Rod and I used this horse, and that means she's going to win. But 11-1 seems like a good price to start out with on this sequence. That's the first thing I want to know with at least my ticket. I had a hard time, as I sometimes do at this London Pick 4, finding horses that look like horses. And it's sometimes hard to read the past performances of some of the horses here because London is such a trip track as opposed to a track where you read horses' form, if that makes sense. A horse that has raced terribly in their last 6 starts, all they need is a good post, and you just have to assume that things are going to work out that way. So that's why with my tickets, you're going to see that a lot of my contenders lean towards the inside. I use rail horses because time and time again we see that is one of the biggest benefits a horse can get on this track. It's also a half-mile track, so of course that makes sense. There's so many turns to go about, and the inside, of course, is the shortest way around a circle. But with 2 minutes to go, my ticket goes as follows: 1-2-7 with 1-2-5 with 3-5 with 1-3-5. It's a $10.80 play for 20 cents. Mike, your ticket.
It's 1-2 with 2-4-5 with 2-3-5-8 with 1-2-4-8-9. It's 24.
And Rod.
1-2-7 with 2-4-5 with 1-3-6 with 1-3-4-5-8. It's $27.
And don't you try calling that number because it's going to send you to a Croatian man. 40 seconds to post. 6-5 co-favorite. The 3 Liam needs some. I have no idea why this horse is taking money. I was not a fan. Second choice, but yes, I was not a fan. Second, now the favorite at even money is the 1-7 stars. The 2 Pinecone Pete to me is also interesting in this race, purely because of pace setup. Pinecone Pete looks like he could.
Why am I not seeing odds on the 2 here? Pinecone Pete.
Why are you not seeing odds? Because one of your eyes just went out. You better go to the mechanic to get it renewed. All right, so 5 seconds to go. The gate's moving into position. As I was saying, Pinecone Pete could just take the lead and take him wire to wire. That's why I used him.
I don't want him either. I think he's okay.
Well, you also use him too, so I would have to...
Member Me, 8-1 right now.
And 8-1 on the 7 Member Me. Well, Control here is at the helm by about 2.5 from PC Heisenberg, chasing second. Third, Faxer Theory, then it's a gap of about 3 lengths to the favorite. 7 stars fourth as they move on to that opening quarter. Liam Needs Some remains fifth, about 7 lengths from the front, and Member Me caps out this field of 6 to the opening quarter. It's Hudon and Pinecone Pete in 29 and 1/5, in front by 2 3/4 from PC Heisenberg, sitting second. Faxer Theory tightens from third, as does 7 stars fourth, beginning to move overland there, coming to the top of the stretch first time. Catching that cover from fifth, Liam Needs Some, while Member Me takes the inside route in the back of the pack as they move on towards Circuit 2, led by Pinecone Pete, unchallenged, unpressured, unfazed so far, but here comes 7 stars to brush alongside the half mile in 1:01 and 1, a 32-second breather for the tempo setter Pinecone Pete, but on his wheels, 7 stars to the outside now presses the pace. PC Heisenberg locked in third by Liam Needs Some second over fourth to the backstretch, only 2 lengths from the lead. Faxer Theories then shuffled to fifth. Member Me is third over in that flow. They're 3 in, 3 out with a new leader. 7 stars now sliding to Control. Pinecone Pete battles back to the inside, but now he yields in second. Outside, Liam Needs Some moves up too as they go past 3/4 in 1:31 and 1, a 30-second third quarter. 7 stars in front. Duck and tuck for Liam Needs Some into that turn. He's back out for more, only a length to make up as Pinecone Pete dives back into the field. They turn for home. 7 stars, the one to catch, and now he's kicking away from Liam Needs Some second. But it is 7 stars coming to the line, holding on here, and 7 stars now cruises away to a 2.5 length win. Liam Needs Some second, from Member Me taking third, then Faxer Theory, PC Heisenberg, Pinecone Pete finished last in 2:01 and 1/5. All right, so the favorites go 1-2, 1-2. Yeah, they're the 8-1 fourth choice got third, and then 33-1, 34-1, and 9-2. Pinecone Pete, he did go to the lead, but he did not have the stamina as I said, and of course, as you all understood what I just said. 7 stars around the final turn holds him off to win it 3-5. So far, not interesting. But
well, we kind of predicted that, didn't we? We said the first couple legs were chalky.
Yeah, we predicted that along with about what's 3-5, 80% of the betting public.
It's all right. Hey, listen, you know,
you're live.
Sequence, you gotta get through it. We didn't go very deep in it. It's fine.
We're live.
I miss the inspirational speeches Mike would give on a weekly basis. We need more of those as we move on from that first leg of the pick 4.
Well, we gotta give a couple shout-outs here.
All right, take it away, Rodney.
Shout out to Colin Kelly.
Oh, nice.
What's up, Colin?
Watching from Western Fair. Corinna McLean, Jamaica Patton, my old buddy from Chicago. Brian Brown, Davis Tachura.
What's up?
Diane Crossman.
Diane Crossman's watching.
He's always watching.
The party.
Mark Anderson watching.
Mark Anderson's watching. Hello, Mark.
All kinds of people watching.
All kinds of people. Tall people, short people, big people, small people. All kinds of people here at the Home Depot. Home Depot. Okay, so we're going to move on there. That was the Equistro feature. I still can't believe there's a place called the Equistro and the chefs are not horses. That would be...
Pick 4 is getting ready to go at Woodbine if anybody has any sort of interest in that.
And if you go to NAHUpicks.com, Mike has a ticket up there. And from what I understood, you did fairly decently last night on the site.
Yeah, last night had a good showing. A little frustrating because I missed the early pick 4 because of stupidity. But if you look at my feed,
real quick,
you probably had it.
Before you carry on, while my brother is watching, congratulations to my brother Derek and his now fiance Erin, who just got engaged today.
Nice.
Ah, yes. It can only go up from here. Nothing like young cynicism, if you ask me, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else in between. We move on in the sequence. Congrats to Danielle and Erica. What were their names again?
Derek and Aaron.
David and Goliath, congratulations on your soon-to-be marriage, and hopefully that's the last one. I don't know. I was going to work at a divorce thing, but again, young cynicism.
Let's not do that.
Congratulations. You see, I secretly do that because I'm envious of people who can find real happiness, but I shouldn't project that onto others. I should not express my own inner angst outward. I should only be a happy beacon of sunshine.
Oh, we did. We missed an important shout out from London.
Oh, we did?
Yes.
Well, to be fair, it was when I was talking, so they should know better.
Terry Wilson, who always watches our show. Shout out to him.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Terry Wilson. He also has picks up on the Western Fair feed.
And shout out to one of our partners up at Running Aces, Ben Bloom, watching right now.
Nice.
Yes, Ben Bloom, the man who I asked if he watched The Simpsons, and he said yes, and to this day I don't know if he was lying. He looks like the kind of guy that is obsessed with The Simpsons. He's just so soft-spoken.
What gives that away?
Right.
Mike, when you've been on this earth as long as I have.
Okay.
Which isn't that long.
I'm making a point here. When you've been on this earth as long as I have, you pick up certain traits in people that just connect with things. Like you see a kind of lanky guy, you just go, oh, he must like Krispy Kreme donuts. Like there's just little cultural connections you make inside the cranium from a day-to-day basis.
And we have a birthday shout out to Winks, Keel Winkler. Winks picks up at Running Aces.
Yeah, we know a lot of people running Aces. I wonder why. There's a lot of show. Because
we're awesome and they're awesome.
Happy birthday to Winks, wink, wink. Happy birthday to Winks, wink, wink.
Yeah, stop doing that.
He's available for parties.
Yeah, he'll never get booked.
Winks the Clown? I want to see Winks the Clown. He looks like, here's another example. Winks looks like the kind of guy that just knows how to juggle. Never learned. He's never taught. He just one day picked up 3 objects and did it.
What I want to know is how you come up with all these arbitrary things.
Right.
Out of nowhere.
I'll
talk about a judgmental guy.
I'll repeat myself in case I stuttered. If you've been on this earth as long as I have, that's as much as you need to know about that. So much show going on today. There's so much show. We tried to contain it into a can of Progresso soup, and then you know what came out? Giant snakes came out. It turned out it was one of those gag cans of peanut brittle. That's just how much show is erupting from the show. Wait, that would be an implosion. That means the show is collapsing on itself like a supernova. But that's very poetic when you think about it. More pick 4s to talk about tonight. That is part of the feature as I look on my floor and I wonder when was the last time this studio was cleaned. Looks...
Never.
Actually, I think I see the sarcophagus of King Tut over there, so it's been a while. Presumably 2 weeks. We got more racing action to talk about as we cover the late pick 4 from London. All of us move on in that sequence to this second leg, as you would if you'd won the first leg. You can't move on to the third leg after winning the first leg. You got to win the second leg, and that's coming up in 7 minutes. Aside from that, the rest of this show will not only be devoted to Rod time and time again giving shout-outs to people who are watching the stream. We'll also be devoted to previewing the Pick 4 sequences for the Meadowlands and Woodbine Mohawk Park for Saturday. Now, why those Pick 4s? Because you might be saying to yourself, right, do you realize how many harness tracks are racing tomorrow? You got the Downs, Mohegan Land, Pocono, you got Yonkers City, you got Pompano Park. You got so many tracks to go, and that's why I say
Pompano.
But you haven't seen that video. Gabe Pruitt, who was in my neighborhood, but didn't want to say hello to me. He hired a guy from I think the WWE to give a shout out to the Send It In Army.
Battle Royale.
He pronounced it Pompano Park, which I mean. I wouldn't be surprised if I've been pronouncing it wrong this whole time.
That's possible. I mean, I've never been to Pompano. I don't know.
Have you been to Pocono?
Yeah, last time we were there. We were just in Pocono.
We were in the Pocono Mountains.
Yeah.
Where we saw cheap
Pocono.
Hey, I'm trying to see if everybody can see my my board tonight. My board.
Man, what's on your board this week? Since we were off last week, it has to be good because you had all this time to think about it, and I know you spent long times thinking about it.
Yeah. Roughly 30 seconds.
Well, you know that
Actually, I forgot what it said. So, oh yeah, I've eaten pizza every day this week.
Wait, that's what it says?
Yeah, that's what it says.
For those
say, I'm never getting laid ever again.
I like pizza. I like totals.
I left dead air on the radio just to express the shame I feel right now. Uh-oh. That either means CPR or the pizza rolls are ready.
They're getting there.
Pizza rolls, that's good. I'm hungry.
Mike works in a hospital, so you have to do the Patrick Siren from SpongeBob.
No.
I feel like that would get really annoying. Like if I was one of the guys whose arteries was cut open and I heard someone doing that, I would stop all of my pain for that 1 second. No, can you please focus on what's happening to me right now? I don't want to be the center of attention, but I got blood squirting out. It's going choo 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 all over. I just want to get this done. I got to get out of here. I got to shift at the convenience store later tonight. I got to get back for because we got a Celine Dion concert to make money for. All kinds of things, and of course, I would get taken care of because in America, everyone has health care. So we move on. Can you tell I'm caffeinated? Because I can't. Happy birthday to Chad Whiteye. I'm looking at on the Western Fair feed right now. Let's talk a bit about this race since we didn't really get a chance to talk much about this sequence. I see, Rod, you have the 4-2-8 in that order. So first things first, if you bet anything that is not in the order of 4-2-8, do I have the right to sue you?
No.
Okay, that's important information that I need to know. That I totally was not gonna go about doing.
It's my suggestion. But this race, it's a field of 9. There's no scratches in this one, right?
Yes, there is.
Oh, the 9 is scratched. Okay.
Because it's an also eligible.
Yeah. Okay. So field of 8 here. It's a field of 8. 4, 2, and 8 are my top 3. The 4 Ideal Toy last week had 0 chance to win that race. Had the outside post, ducked to last in a 9-horse field. It was a mile and a 16th race. Just ducked to last. Finished 5th, raced very well, I thought. You can kind of toss that one out. Expect her to be on the front end tonight, either on the lead or the 2-hole. I think she probably goes to the lead with Mark St. Louis. The 2, L'Argent Legacy. This one is a London specialist. She's been really good the last 2 starts. She's got 2 wins in her last 4 starts. And she draws inside. She's been going to the lead lately. I don't know that she'll get the lead here. She'll make the front, but I don't know if she's going to hold the lead just because Ideal Toy has a ton of gate speed when she wants to use it. So I expect it to line up 4-2 and finish that way. The 8, New Boston Town. This one likes to sit on the rail. Likes to stay close, doesn't usually pull until like down the backside near the 3/4 pole. That's kind of her game. She sits in, usually likes to get a trip, and that's kind of been her MO all year long. And I expect that again tonight. She'll probably get away 4th because the 1 does have speed. She's following the 1 out of the gate. So I think it's going to line up 4, 2, 1, and 8, and it should come in something like that. As long as nothing crazy happens early with the 2 and the 4 where they go battle 100 miles an hour and they both get tired. So that's kind of how I'm playing this race.
And Ideal Toy is the current favorite at 7-5. But Mike, what I want to ask you, because I know you used Ideal Toy in your pick 4. The reason why I didn't is because of how he sometimes chooses to leave the gate and sometimes doesn't. When you're handicapping this race, are you assuming that he's going to show that speed, or are you more so betting that he will?
But when he didn't leave, it was because it was 7-hole. So that's, I don't really put a lot of credence into that. Anytime he's anywhere inside, he usually leaves. This driver's pretty used to him. He's won 7 times this year. So I think that, okay, he's not going to leave from the 7 hole, but anything inside, he's probably going to leave. I don't know that he can beat the 2 to the front. We'll see. That's certainly possible. But I used for that reason because of the post switch and that obviously the connections are solid. I think the 5 has a chance in the race also, and he's not getting a whole lot of respect.
I feel like you would agree with me if you're looking at the board that 8-1 on this 2 is a pretty decent price.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to stay, though.
No, that won't stay, but if it does, that's extreme value, and you need to play that.
You need to go to your local Adam machine, not your Eve machines. She doesn't have money. Adam has the money, and you got to put in the debit card, take it out, put in your PIN number. Don't forget to give me all of these numbers after the show just so I can make sure they stay safe. And the 3 wacky numbers on the back, also include those and the expiration date when you send it over my way. But you got to go to that machine, you got to take out all the money, and you got to place it on... Okay, don't do that anymore. Large and Legacy is 5-1. Now she's going down. Abort that plan. Abort. No, don't use the word abort in this country. 9-5 though on Ideal Toy. Mike, as I usually try to segue into you. Pardon me. You're a betting man. You're looking at this board right now. You got any kind of bets festering in that head of yours?
Well, I think the pick 3 has a little value here. Depending on, I think the last 2 races are wide open, so I used a lot of my numbers from the pick 4. There's a few scratches I wasn't aware of, but I punched a little pick 3 here. My horses.
And I want to ask both of you, because I'm the only one of all of us who used this horse. Let me double check. I am correct. A bit of Billy. I used this horse coming in off the layoff, off the qualifier. Decent qualifier, I thought. Why does this horse not have a chance? You look back at Leamington, had some decent miles over there. Sure, had a little bit of gate issues, but inside draw, doesn't really have to do much. Was gate the concern for both of you?
Yeah, for me, definitely. The horse needs to get a flat mile, and that's the issue. So I think he just goes out of there a little bit. He doesn't press too much off the gate and just gets away third and sits there. That's likely the game plan for this horse tonight. I don't see her firing real hard early, just because if she makes another break, she's got to qualify again, then you miss another week.
I don't think she's fast enough either. That's another thing.
Well, I don't mind those Leamington lines. They're decent lines. I just don't think she's going to win this race based on what she's done over the last couple weeks.
Well, you look back, the one line she broke in, I think it was 4 starts ago. She followed that with a start from the rail, winning, albeit as the favorite. So she was assuming the best horse in that race, and now 16-1 here against tougher competition. I think at the very least could hit the ticket and make it a decent price.
Oh yeah, I definitely can hit the ticket, and right now the value that you're getting on the one horse here, 14-1 or whatever she is now, I think you got to have on the ticket somewhere. On top, I'm not using on top, not my cup of tea there, but I would definitely play for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in your supers.
As I am doing right now, I am playing a trifecta for $1. 2 on top of the 4-5, on top of the 1-4-5 is the strategy I'm taking here. One chilly night, Mike kind of briefly mentioned this horse with 35 seconds to post. I can talk a bit about her too because I used her. Has shown speed in the past, finished 2nd last out, going a mile and a 16th. Maybe the added distance wasn't necessarily best for her, but 2 starts back against this group 1 as the favorite, going wire to wire from post 3. Another one that can show speed. It's just, does she get parked out by the inside horses, or does she secure a rail trip? And from there, there's always a caveat. There's always more than one caveat. And from there, is she able to outkick the 2 best horses in this race, being the 2 and the 4. I'm vouching on the 2, Large Legacy at 5-2. The favorite at 8-5 is the 4 Ideal Toy. It's post time. Final thoughts, Rod.
Get to the 3rd leg.
Okay.
4-8. 4-8.
That's a very zen way to look at it. And then when you lose, I'm going to assume you're going to break every lamp in your house. They're lining up.
I like lamp.
What are you, a moth?
I like
No,
lamp.
you don't know moth. Favorite here now at 3-2. The 2 Largen Legacy, 9-5 on the 4 Ideal Toy. Field of 8, in line, in behind, in motion, into the stretch, approaching the start for the 8th. At the raceway, it's a recall. Just kidding, the starting car leads the way into that first turn. The starting car making its way to the opening. What a big joke, and then everyone working at the track has money on the starting car. There's a recall.
I hate recalls.
Yeah, I wonder why. It's not because you have to basically restart. Well, not only that, as someone who's had as many concussions as you, I can understand that recall is hard sometimes.
No, I had a recall one time at Balmoral where I had a small horse on the outside, and we were going around the first turn during the recall, and my horse decided he wanted to duck his head underneath the gate, or try to at least, and go underneath it. And it was not good. I couldn't hardly pull him off the gate. It wasn't fun. I had to wait for everybody inside of me to move so I could get him down behind the car. That wasn't very pleasant. But a lot of times, I mean, now it's kind of funny because 10 years ago, horses acted differently than they do now, because now they're more adapted to humans by the time they get into the breaking season, like right now, this time of year where everybody's buying these yearlings up. So, they're very well-mannered compared to what they used to be, even 10 years ago.
Are they used to humans, or are they used to dancers? That's the question, Rod. Are they humans, or are they dancers?
Why would they be dancers?
Why is that the question?
Because it's a song.
I don't know that song.
Oh. But that's because it doesn't go a hippie to the hip hip hoppy, don't stop the rock until the bang bang rocky, you have to start the hockey to the rookie to the hooky to beat.
Are they going at London yet? Like, what's going on there?
Well, Sugar Doyle's watching us, so no, they're not going yet.
It's take 2.
Here they go.
Now favored at even money, the 4 Ideal Toy. 3-1, the 2 Largen Legacy. 4-1 on the 5-1 Chilly Night. This time 7 in line, 1 in behind, field in motion, in line and behind, and approaching the start. It's off. And pacing with Ideal Toy, leaving out Largen Legacy towards the inside. Don't chase, just pace from in between. New Boss in town, away from the second tier, moves up to the cones, gets away third. Don't chase, just pace. Backs into fourth to that opening quarter. 1 Chilly Night, away fifth ahead of a bit of Billy sixth. Seventh comes Cherry Poppin'. Attitude caps out the field to the back stretch in front. Largen Legacy from New Boss in town, taking the pocket, a gap of 2.5. The odds-on favorite Ideal Toy races from third ahead of Don't Chase, Just Pace in fourth. First quarter goes 28 3/5. 1 Chilly Night remains fifth around that turn. Then a gap of 2.5, 3 lengths, a bit of Billy sixth. Another 2 to Cherry Pop seventh. Attitude rounding out this field, about a 15-length spread, moving to the top of the stretch first time. First over from fifth comes 1 Chilly Night, a 6 lengths off the lead of Largen Legacy, moving to the half-mile station. Ideal Toy from third, going to take the bait from 1 Chilly Night, flushed first over to the half-mile in 59 and 2/5, 30 and 4 in that second quarter. Leader remains Largen Legacy on lap 2. New Boss in town sits second. Ideal Toy to the outside, marches uncovered, now stalled a touch around that turn with Don't Chase, Just Pace to the inside. Fourth, matching strides with One Chilly Night. Second over fifth to the back stretch. Large and Legacy has 2.5 lengths separation here from New Boston Town. St. Louis chasing Ideal Toy. He's not progressing. Then 3 wide comes One Chilly Night with Don't Chase, Just Pace to the inside. A bit of Billy needs room from the back with Cherry Pop towards the center and Attitude behind a wall. 128 and 2. The 3/4 time. Large and Legacy leads the way into the lane. 3 lengths ahead of New Boston Town towards the inside. Ideal Toy in between, but the new name One Chilly Night is widest of all and trying to sweep up late. Large and Legacy needing the line from Ideal Toy and One Chilly Night. Large and Legacy wire to wire. Ideal Toy second. One Chilly Night looked like was on the right line but held on for third there, and it's a tight photo for fourth.
Still live. We got the 4 to 5 beat. We got the 4 to 5 beat. That's big.
And I hit the triple in that race, but I would have preferred the 1 get up for third. Make it.
Was it fourth?
I don't think so.
Then you're good.
Well, that recall definitely helped the 8 horse there because he knew the 1 was pulling off the gate at that point.
The 1 finished last.
Yeah, the 1.
Good call on that one.
The 1.
Played.
The 1 was the one that caused the recall with interference to the 8 behind the gate. And that's big because the 8 moved right behind the 2 and stayed there. So he knew exactly what the 1 was going to plan on doing at that point.
And I played that boy for $1. 3 to 1, 4 to 5, 9 to 2, 7 to 1. Don't Chase, Just Pace got off the gate and just chased and paced to get fourth. At 7 to 1 to complete the superfecta. Well, actually, a bit of Billy was 7th technically. I think it was Attitude or Cherry Pop in the back of the pack. As now, that is.
We're all live, right?
We all move on.
There we go.
Wow.
We're all live.
When was the last time all of us were alive after the first leg at London?
First 2 legs.
Especially the first 2 legs.
Well, usually you're never alive at anything, so
right.
When you hit, we're blown out completely.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if anyone used one word to describe me, it's dead.
That's usually your pick 4.
I'm gonna call my lawyers. So while I'm doing that, we got more pick 4s we can talk about. Since we still got Mike, I want to at least start talking about the Mohawk pick 4, because for those of you who don't know, at NAHUpicks.com, Mike Bribosi is our handicapper for Woodbine Mohawk Park. He has the opinion that I trust, and if Rod ever gives me any input, I always run it by Mike first because I want to make sure Rod is wrong. Yes. Okay, so
tried that last week, and what happened, Ray? What happened last week when you tried that?
The difference was it was Breeders' Cup, it was Churchill Downs, and I didn't like that John Stadler horse to begin with.
That was bad.
It was. If I use that horse, I have that $1,400 triple or that
I gave you 20 minutes before the race.
Yeah, I have to say you did.
And then you decided not to play it. And he hits, and you lose.
I had the winner anyway. You didn't give me expert eye. I have the expert eye.
You don't have the expert eye because you didn't listen to what I said.
Without my glasses, I don't.
Anyway, Mohawk.
Oh, boy. I got a $19 trifecta. This is what I play this game for.
Mm-hmm.
8-10 to win on Large and Legacy, 3-10 to place, 220 to show. Ideal Toy, 210, 210, One Chilly Night, 380.
The 2 was a top pick there by Terry Wilson.
$2 exact, the 2-4, $10.60, the $1 try, 245, $19.55. That was an okay year. 20-cent try then, good for $3.91. The $1 super, $2.453, $79.75. And for the 20-cent option, $15.95. That was not a good year. Anything in the 1500s is just not memorable at all. It was around the time Martin Luther was like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah,
God doesn't. You don't need to pay God to get into heaven. And then that's when the Catholics went, oh, shoot, he's on to us. And so then they assassinated him. don't fact check that. Mohawk Park has a pick 4 tomorrow night, Saturday, November 10th, 2018, the year of our Lord. Starting with race 4, it's a $50,000 guaranteed pool, and one thing that I feel Mike is lucky for is he usually gets these sequences they're usually pretty competitive, and I thought that this was one of the better pick 4s we're going to look at all weekend. Starting with this 4th race, and now there's a $5,000 pacing event, a purse of $13,000 on the line. I got to shout out my boy McDave, one of the most simply named horses I've ever seen that I just have to appreciate each and every time. But to kick things off here, Mike, I see a horse in shades of bay making that typical Mohawk move where he's raced against tougher, and now he's making that big dip in towards the bottom level. How do you beat him?
I don't know if you can. The problem with him is never his speed. Yeah, he's legitimately fast. He can lay down big fractions on the front. He can beat horses that are, the absolute top level at the racetrack. But the problem is he has antics. He tends to drift in the stretch. He tends to do things he shouldn't do, and that's what happens, and that's how he loses. So now he's all the way down, at this low level. Now where's a 5,000? His best crushes this race. He gets Henry back. He gets Lasix back. He's going to get the front. It's a matter of, does he drift in the stretch? Does he, do what he's supposed to do to win? I really think he does. I don't see a lot of horses in here that, there are a lot of strugglers, a lot of horses that have been living at the numbers of 3,000 level. I'm just not a fan of much else in here, and I think that he has a huge chance, especially if he's on the front, able to control the race. I'm going to use the 7 also. It's just too much. This horse is Wa Moreau, has had 9-hole, 10-hole last 2, third back off the layoff. He should be bet more. Ran into Big Bang Boom last time at numbers of 5,000, who was a dropper and usually controls those races. And he did. He was a huge chalk in that one. But, this horse out of the 9-hole kicked home 28-1. Prior to that was second at almost 80-1 against Lily Joe Hill, who was sitting on a win in that race, to my eye. He's fast enough. He's probably still going to be a halfway decent price in the race. I mean, he's not going to be, 7-1 again. But, I could see him being somewhere between 4 and 6. And I think he's a use. I think he could get a pocket maybe behind the 6 if he decides to go with Watt. So I'm going to live with those two and hope to move on. I'm 6-7 in the first leg.
Before I get to Rod, I want to shout out my own analysis of the Meadowlands over at NAHUpicks.com. 2 top pick winners so far tonight, already paying over $10. Priceless Possession, a horse I was a big fan of, 10-20 to win in that 5th race. And we started the pick 4 with Mayfair Johnny B, a top pick winner, paying $12.80 over the Burke entry with Celebrity Eventsy there 3rd.
Bang, bang.
We're live in that pick 4 sequence, trying to beat the 3-5 favorite OK Heavenly with a 7-1 shot. But we're in it to win it. That said, Rod, you clearly are not, because someone once told me you smelled. But nonetheless, I'm gonna give you some time to redeem yourself here. This first leg of the pick 4 at Mohawk. Let's see here. You like 2 horses. Wait, and they're the same horses I like. Oh, that means I smell.
Yes, you do, but I'm too deep here in leg 1. The 4 Needlecrest. He's only got 1 win on the year. He's got 2 wins the last 2 years. That's my only concern with him. But last week he went a big mile, showed vast improvement in that last start. Bob McClure gets the drive. I think he fits this class perfectly. There's not a lot in here that really likes to go much, so I think he's in a good spot. He should be leaving again, and if he makes the top, he could steal this one. The 6 Shades of Bay, he's more or less the horse to beat here. He's getting Lasix again, and he's just way better than these when he wants to be. But the key is when he wants to be. If he's not on that A game of his, he's out doing whatever he wants to do, which is not good if you're going to key a horse like him. So use a couple horses here. I can see the 7. I can see the 4. The rest of this field is kind of just not up to par at this point. So I'm going 4-6 here and hope I get through it.
One thing that sometimes tricks me up with these races at Mohawk is sometimes I'm reading the lines so nuanced. That's not grammatically correct. Let me rephrase that. Sometimes I'm reading the lines so intently, that's the word I wanted to use, that I start to think that every horse can win the race, and I have to kind of recalibrate my brain to realize that like one horse can only win this race. And so as I was looking at it, Shades of Bay has the class advantage on most of them, and Needlecrest was the only other one in this field that has some kind. I mean, he's moving up in class, yes, but he showed enough form in that last race to make me think, and I guess Rod think as well, that he can compete at this level so long as he doesn't do what he did last week.
But he loses Wah, that's all I'm going to say.
But he gets McClure.
Yeah, I mean, McClure's fine, but he doesn't drive the same. He's
No.
not going to be on the front.
Yeah, and they don't really like each other either. But that doesn't really matter when you look at it, because this horse parked to the half in 54 and 4, cleared the front, and of course crawled home because he thought it was a half-mile race, and you just can't think it's a half-mile race when it's a mile race. That's half a mile too short. So if he times his move a bit better and he still has that kind of speed in him and he wasn't burnt out by that start, he can win. But Shades of Bay is the horse that should win this race. Emphasis on the word should does not necessarily mean he will, because if I know anything about Mohawk horses, they will find a way to lose if need be. But of course I say that like it's only Mohawk horses. Every horse I bet finds a way to lose now that I think about it. But this is not a therapy session. I don't want to pay anyone $60 an hour to work out my feelings. I'm 4'6", Rod's 4'6". Well, actually, I'm 6 foot even, but Rod is 4'6". He's a very short man, and Mike is 6'7". He used to play basketball in college. Next race, 5th race. I apologize. He was a wiffle ball player. Now is $7,500 their last 5 starts. This is the second leg of this pick 4. Another race that looks competitive. We see Is It Friday yet dropping in class. We see a bunch of horses actually dropping in class towards the outside and towards the inside. Mike, to start off with you're going 3 deep.
3 deep, with the caveat that, Is It Friday yet is a likely sub-even money horse in the race, considering that, earlier in the year he was pretty much unbeatable. He won like 9 in a row. That last race he popped 51 and 4. I felt like that was a sign that he's probably coming back to his best, and, this is a class drop for him. Again, this horse, on his best, crushes this bunch, and I feel like, is going to get the lead and control it. So he's a must-use. I'm going to use 2 others, though, and that's the one McKinney, who I think, has a little back class, gets a drop, can get a trip, gets post-relief, keeps Henry. This horse lost to Regal Sun last time, was in that same Is It Friday Yet race, and raced well enough to be 5th. I mean, got a check in there, gets a post-switch, could get a better trip than he got last time. So he's probably worth a stab, and I think he's probably 7 or 8 to 1, considering all the money that Is It Friday Yet's going to take. And then the 3, he's a sensation who's always live in, late in races, has had terrible posts. This horse almost won, back on October 13th when Harris was driving, and this, flew home in a 51-4 mile just to be second. He's been knocking at the door sort of at this level, drops along with the others. Those are the 3 for me. The 3 obviously needs a trip. It's going to be a big price, depending on how they hook up early. I'll try those 3, 1, 3, 8.
Rod, from the numbers I have, you're also trying the 1, 3, 8, but you also use the 2, the 6, the 12, the 19, the 47, the E equals MC squared. You might as well have just taken all of them.
No, I'm using half the field here. I thought this race was wide open if the 8 falters. He does look like he's starting to come back into form, but he has not been himself, so I'm a little concerned with him. But I am using him. The 1, McKinney, is a must-use from the rail. He's got a perfect spot. He should get away up close. And this is going to be one of those races where I think you need to be pretty close turning for home, because they're not going to go real fast. The 3, he's a sensation. This is the price horse in the race, I think. And I agree with Mike on this one. He draws much better than he has the last 2 times. Jay Harris just kind of ducked him and sat towards the back the last 2 races. I expect him to be much, much closer and have a big shot at this race. Just needs to be within range and have clear sail and turn for home. The 4, Osborne Sealster, Fitz. Last race, you can kind of toss that one out. Raced very well, but from that spot had no chance to win. I think Doug McNair puts him in play. It is a jump up, and well, it's not a jump up, but some of these are dropping, so this is kind of like a jump up in class a little bit. But he could be poised for a good race in here if he's following the 3 the whole way in the outer flow. The 7, About a Boy. Here's another long shot play here. Coming off the qualifier, he ships up from Pennsylvania, New York, facing non-winners of 10, 12,000 at Yonkers and Pocono. He plays here. He's got some really good miles down in Pennsylvania and New York. The only concern is he's got 1 win on the year, but I think coming to a new barn from Pat LaChance to the Olette barn, or however you say it, but whatever. It was a good qualifier. I think he plays here, just needs to work out a trip. This one is the long shot play of the whole sequence for me, and then obviously the 8 like I mentioned earlier.
I'd probably like him a little better next time, but I mean, I don't mind that horse rod. That's not a bad pick on the barn change, but I would, he likes to share a little too much maybe.
But more importantly, who does Ray like? We'll have to find out after the 9th race from the Raceway Western Fair District with 20 seconds to go. I am alive to the 3 and the 5. Mike is alive to the 3, 5, and 8. And Rod is alive to the 1, 3, 6 as the snow begins to fall on the northern side.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a dusting out here. It was not a dusting. It was 2 inches of snow.
That's a dusting.
No, a dusting is like half an inch maybe. There was 2 inches of snow. I had to go frickin' scrape my car off this morning.
Don't be wearing the Farmer's Almanac. It says that. I didn't mean to raise my voice. When people start yelling about snow, I get anxious. This race is lining up. 4 to 5 favorite now. The 1, Forest Oracle.
Terry, that's what the snow looked like here this morning.
4 to 1 now on the 3, Monster in Law. Down to a field of 7. They're at the start, and they're off in London. Another great pick moving out for the lead. Forest Oracle towards the inside, pushes for position with Monster in Law. Getting away 3rd, tucking ahead of Democracy, away 4th around that first turn. Back then to Rough Trade, leading Colorado Buck and Jake Parrish in the back of the field. Another great pick, crossed over early, but may yield the pocket to Forest Oracle, angling out and moving up to brush to control that opening quarter. Monster in Law sits behind them 3rd. Democracy is off the rail from 4th, about 3.5 lengths from the new leader, and begins a rush towards the top through a 29-2 opening quarter. Here comes Democracy up to match strides, or now just prompt Forest Oracle into the turn. Another great pick still sits to the inside with Monster in Law trying to catch the cover of Democracy, moving into the stretch first time. They're then back towards the inside. Rough Trade wide of that one. Colorado Buck in the flow, and Jake Parrish is now 4th over as Forest Oracle moves past the half in 59 and 2/5, a 30-second second quarter with Democracy to the outside trying to press, now dropping back to 2 lengths. Inside, another great pick now takes the 2nd spot, shuffled to 4th towards the inside. Rough Trade 2nd over Monster in Law, about 5 lengths from the front as they move into the back stretch. Colorado Buck 3rd up in that flow, gonna have to tip wide, as does Monster in Law to that 3/4 to circumvent Democracy, retreating. Meanwhile, Forest Oracle leads by a length and 3/4 from another great pick sitting the pocket. 3/4 in 129, 30 or 29 and 3 that 3rd quarter, and it's Forest Oracle the story here. Another great pick moves off the rail, looking poised for the upset as they're homeward bound. Forest Oracle narrowly, another great pick trying to surge deeper on the track. Here comes a horse that I cannot see just yet. Another great pick, he's revealing himself. Colorado Buck wide there, but another great pick holds on at 18 to 1. If only I could say that was true for me. Another great pick from Colorado. Buck Rough Trade there may have been third. The Flurries scurried that photo in 159 and 3.
Did anybody see what happened to the 6 there?
He took back.
Yeah, he was locked up the entire way. That horse will win next week. He was the long shot play in the sequence tonight. He had a ton.
He was 3-1.
He was 3-1.
He was 7-1 morning line.
He was 3-1. Who's the 7?
7-1 morning line. Next week, that horse will win.
Now let's see. What did we miss in another great pick, and why wasn't he another great?
I thought about using him, but I just didn't.
Let's see. Ross Batten. Oh, he's batting
a little though.
He's batting a 163. Could be batting better. Nope, wouldn't have had.
He was probably the next horse.
Although, Rod, maybe you can attest to this. All the posts all the outside posts I see horses launch from. Post 7 is very frequent
because they don't want to get away last.
That's what. But like, I find it strange how if a horse has post 6, they are less likely to leave than a horse from post 7. At least from my eye, from the races I've seen at London.
Well, the way they turn him loose at London, they turn him loose a little bit before the start, so the outside post gets a little bit of an advantage coming off that turn because he's going full speed coming off the turn there, so it really helps him to maintain that speed if he wants to leave. They have a lot of momentum leaving the gate.
As opposed to the 6 horse who, in reality, would not be using as much ground.
Well, you don't have as much room to work with.
I will tell you, if you guys are interested in a horse at Woodbine, the 4 is 7-1 currently. Winsong Magnifique had no chance last time. Kenzo Silster 1-2, way too low in that race. So the 4 is worth a bet in race 9 at Woodbine tonight.
Well, yeah, well, 2 of us can play at that game. If I pull up the Meadowlands racetrack in East Rutherford, New Jersey, up the 8th race is off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't, give somebody a horse.
Oh, a Delightful Memphis one. I didn't like that horse at 9-5, but and she beat Follow the Wind. How could she do that? Dexter Dunn, he's done in my book after beating me there like that. But we beat OK Heavenly. Did I have that horse in the pick 4? I don't remember. I did. Okay, so the pick 4 is at least still alive. It's live to a single in the 9th race with the 5 Bizet. Not to be confused with that little appliance in France.
That's a bidet, not a bizet.
A bizet is a collection of shops, if I'm not mistaken. That's like a marketplace, kind of.
God help me.
I doubt it.
That's where you're supposed to say, no, that's not a bizet. It's a bazaar. And I was supposed to go, oh. Okay, I got you. Because a bizet...
It's time for a break.
A bizet is that yellow flower you can find out in your yard sometimes. You go, Ray, that's not a bizet, that's a daisy. And I go, oh, right, okay. Because it's just so confusing being me every day. We're going to get ready to go to break. When we come back here on North American Harness Update, I'm going to be sitting down just because that's right.
Are we staying on video?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna stay on video. I'm gonna be sitting down instead of standing up, and then I will finally reveal who exactly I like in the. What leg was it?
Is it a guy?
The second leg of the Mohawk Pick 4, and after we're done with the Mohawk Pick 4, we have the Meadowlands Pick 4 to talk about. That's another interesting sequence. But stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for more here on North American Harness Update from the heart of the region in SRN1.
So I want to thank all of you for letting me come back here to see, what really happens backstage. It's an honor for me to be able to be in front of all of you, especially you and you and you. But I do have to say that there's money on the line out there, and you don't want to go out on the track and do something that seems a little bit iffy. Just get that extra check because it might come back to haunt you a bit later. So clean and fair competition is all I want to see from all you guys. All right? Yes.
Can I pick up a pylon and hold it until the stretch and then throw it at somebody passing me?
That to me does not sound clean and fair. That sounds, in fact, not clean and very unfair, and also kind of inconvenient. So, are you getting off the horse, or no? Okay, yes.
Is it all right if you're gonna loop the field and drag your whip in a manner and then flip off the judges or anything?
I don't know who you're flipping. I mean, that's not okay. If the camera doesn't see it, but it doesn't seem like a good idea because the camera could always keep that. Yes.
Is it okay if I drink this during the race?
No. That can get you pulled over by the horsey police that are following you around the track there. That's a bad idea. That's very unfair, very unclean. I'd check your liver if I were you. Okay, so. Yes.
Is it okay to challenge somebody with a foot race after the race?
I don't see anything wrong with that. That seems pretty.
What if he's over 65? And he has tennis shoes and you have boots?
So he's old and he's not wearing shoes?
But he's from California.
No, he wears tennis shoes.
He's from California.
But if they're tennis shoes and he's from California, doesn't that mean he's fit and vegan?
Actually, he is.
Then he's definitely clean, and that to me seems unfair for whoever's going against him.
Yeah, because they have boots on.
Look, I just want to see you guys out there racing those horses as fairly as you possibly can. All right, so do we have everyone clear on that? Clean and fair. No drinking and driving. No pylons. No middle fingers. Foot races are okay, but I'm focused more on the horse foot races.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that seems clean and fair to everybody. I feel like that's a no. Someone's hiding something.
Juan, what do you think?
Juan?
¿Cómo estás?
That's tú, Juan.
Oh, that's...
¿Es correcto si pateas el caballo cuando va en la carrera?
Sí.
Sí.
Sí. Sí. Yeah.
That sounds clean and fair to me. Go out and do that. Everyone follow his lead, all right? That's what I want to see, okay?
Which is fair.
So we're gonna end this on a chant, all right? Clean and fair.
No.
Clean and fair.
Never.
I'm hooking somebody.
Set to be sentenced in January. Anyone with information related to human trafficking or this case is urged to contact York Regional Police Special Victims Unit Human Trafficking Team or Crime Stoppers. Police are astonished after pulling over a driver in Brampton who drove 60 kilometers over the speed limit. A radar gun clocked the driver traveling on Chinguacousy Road and Grape Trail going 100 kilometers an hour on a 40 kilometer an hour school zone. In a tweet, Peel Police wonder if people will ever learn to follow speed limits.
Daredevil.
Adding the driver had an infant sitting in the back seat. A real estate agent from Brampton is the latest $1 million lottery winner. Geeta Janbandu won the October 26th Lotto Max draw with a prize of $1 million. Janbandu says she plans on paying off the mortgage, help fund her daughter's wedding, and contribute to a possible restaurant for her son. The ticket was purchased at Springdale Convenience on Beauvard. Chances of flurries in the forecast, high of +2. I'll have more updates on SRN1. For now, I'm full of pong.
Thank you, Phil. I forgot my mic is down here. No, my eyes are up here, but where's my mic? My mic is muted right now. I'm going to unmute my mic Bozy in a second. But welcome back to more Laurel and Hardy Power Hour. I'm Laurel and Hardy. I'm joined here by Mike Bozy, Rod Allums Jr. We're back again for a second hour of broadcasting because we were sitting around and we were thinking to ourselves, 1 hour isn't the same as 2 hours. And that's when someone looked at me and they said, "You're right. It's like twice the fun, but it's also twice the work." That's what they don't tell you in show business. But when we last left off on the Penn and Teller Fool Us show, we were looking at the early pick four There's so many pick fours in this sport. The early pick four from Woodbine Mohawk Park, it has a $50,000 guaranteed pool. And I had yet to talk about the second leg, and Mike was already giving credit to Rod about this 7-horse About a Boy as a nice long shot contender, as if I also didn't have him. But he couldn't know that, so I can't hold that against him.
I had no way to know.
There was no way for you to know. However, I can deep down inside still resent you for it. I used 4 horses in this race. The one McKinney being one of them. I'm pretty sure we all used McKinney, so I don't really have much to touch on there. But as a reminder, he is a respiratory inflection, or is known as a cough. But he's dropping in class. I don't even know if that makes sense. He's dropping in class. He's drawing inside. I see a race 4 starts back where he was very aggressive on the lead. So ultimately, he has the form to race well here. It's just maybe the adjustment in class will do him well as the post-switch. And those two in conjunction will make him one happy boy. I also use the 4, whose name is Osborne Sealster. He also gets a post-switch. He's had outside draws in his last 3 starts. And 3 starts back, he tried to show speed. And by tried to, he cleared the lead, but then could not finish up the mile. He ended up finishing 4th at the line. And after that, he just kind of put in some dull efforts here and there. But his most recent start, he kicked him in 27 and change. And perhaps the fact that he showed that much late speed could be a good omen. Or is omen automatically good? I'll have to check the thesaurus on that one later. But maybe because he showed that much late speed in his last race, it could be a sign that he's improving into this race. Could be livening. Who knows? He's 10-1 morning line. I think it's worth the chance. I also used the 7 About a Boy, who, if we look at Anita Wallet's barn, even though she's had 12 starts, she's won almost half of them. And that's definitely something worth noting, is this horse is shipping up from Patrick Lachance to the Wallet barn off a decent qualifier behind Weatherly, was gaining ground on Weatherly. That's something worth noting in that final quarter of a mile on the sloppy track. Gained 4 lengths in the stretch there to kick home at 27 and 4. I think is ready first start off the layoff. A trip would not hurt whatsoever, but again, the ability is there. Hasn't raced in 3 months, but maybe if the ability is just there. Did I mention the ability is just there? That could be enough. I think I said that part too. And then is it Friday yet? Of course it is, you idiot. But this horse was really good over the winter, and he kind of fizzled out. He went on layoff over the summer, and now he's back here to be a winter horse. And he's coming off a second-place finish. He's got class. He's got back class. He won a tough mile last out. They sent him right to the lead. They were probably going to be as aggressive with him again on the drop in class, and that drop in class could be enough to send him to the winner's circle and ultimately make everything else I said up to that point about any other horse not matter. Nonetheless, I'm 1-4-7-8 in that second leg of the pick 4 at Woodbine Mohawk Park. They also take a look. In the pick 4 over at London, they're coming onto the track right now. All of us got knocked out by an 18-1 shot that none of us had. That's why we would get knocked out. But for any of you who are somehow still alive in this sequence, Summit City Nate stepped onto the track. He's the 5-2 favorite right now. We got 2 horses at 3-1. Those being the 3 Played by Swan and the 5 J-Port Sport. And then at 7-2, the 4 EL Rock. We're going to come back to that, or actually, we could talk about this race if you guys want. It has a super high 5. Rod, does it look worth playing at all?
Yes, it does actually.
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk
Give
about
us 5 horses, Rod.
My top choice in the race is the 5 J-Port Sport. You get a big driver change, and that's really the key there. He's been in pretty decent form as well, so this is the horse I think is the key player in the entire race, and the race kind of revolves around him, in my opinion. The second horse I'm going to use, the 3 and the 9 equally, Played by Swan. This is a Duford horse. I've been on this horse several times at London. The horse is fast enough. He just needs to get close enough. And he hasn't been close over recent weeks. He's had no chance at all. Tonight, he draws better. I think he's going to be much closer. And to me, this is the spot for him to really shine. Because he made over $100,000 last year. He's got the ability, and he just has to get involved. And I think he's a player at a decent price. Well, he's only 3-1 right now. You can skip on that. At 3-1, the 9 scratch. So then you go down to my next picks, the 4, the 4 EL Rock. He's a must play here. It's a second start back on Lasix. Last time, that was a needed start. I mean, you can't fault him for just sitting back there. He made a 3-wide move. Didn't even need to make that move. He was just kind of out there doing his own thing. First start back off the layoff there. So I'll excuse that race. I think he's going to be much better here. And he's a definite player in this high 5. But the key horse here is the 5, J-Port Sport. 4-1 currently. You're getting great value there. This is one that you have to have on key 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in this high 5.
I'm playing this right now, where I'm using the 1 and 2 in all of the top positions. And then I have the rest of the horses.
So you didn't even listen to what I just said.
You're right, I didn't. I think Stonebridge scores a bit interesting. Not only that, he's 8-1. That's mostly the reason why I'm using that horse. You got to get some kind of price out of this race now. This horse
the
has
5.
What?
The 5.
Oh, the 5 is 4-1 now. That's a bit more enticing. I'd say a bit more delectable. Rod, you make good points time and time again.
I know I do.
Right now, while also talking at the same time. Rivers at home.
And just so you know, I'm playing this horse to win. Just a win bet. That's it.
3-1 now.
He should be 8-5.
Okay. All right.
What are we doing?
I don't know. Well, I thought you were going to say something about this race, Mike.
Nobody's really talking to me. It's Ray's just sitting there like going, uh-oh. And I'm like, what's going on here?
Well, they're going to the gate right now.
This is tremendous analysis.
This is me trying to punch my bet before I punch myself. There we go. My bet's in. 8-5 favorite on the 1, Summit City Nate. Second choice then at 3. Oh, by the way, I used Stonebridge score on top in the end at 9-1. I used him on top of the 1 and the 5. Then I added the 3 and the 4 for the 3rd and 4th, 5th spots. Okay, they're all lined up. They're at the start, and they're off. And a trotting played by Swan on a break before the start, leaving out there. Stonebridge score with Summit City Nate to the inside. J-Port Sport tucks away into 3rd around that first turn. What can I say? Backs into 4th as they go on to that opening quarter. It's Summit City Nate clearing the top from Stonebridge score away 2nd. EL Rock back 3rd from What Can I Say 4th. As they go on to that opening quarter, J-Port Sport back 5th. Outside of them, Rivers at home, and then played by Swan. He broke at the start. He catches the field as they move on to that opening quarter. 7-5 favorite. Summit City Nate leads by 3 lengths. Stonebridge score tracks from 2nd. EL Rock is 3rd. What Can I Say? Sitting to the inside while Rivers at home. Jones is for cover wide of J-Port Sport into the stretch first time. And now What Can I Say is tipped out. First over as they move after Summit City Nate. That half-mile station, Stonebridge score in the pocket. Outside, What Can I Say? Up to be 3rd, only 3 lengths from the front. Shuffled back, EL Rock into the turn. On that cover, Rivers at home towards the back. Then it's J-Port Sport. And played by Swan remains the trailer, circling that turn to the back stretch. Summit City Nate still leading here by 2 lengths. Stonebridge score in the pocket. Outside, What Can I Say? Now stalled first over with...
Move!
outside fourth. Fifth then is J-Port Sport now angling out. Rod, we can still hear you coming to three quarters. Summit City Nate leads the way. Stonebridge Score now locked in. Wide comes J-Port Sport now on a blind switch with Played by Swan towards the center of the track as they move around that final turn. Summit City Nate the one to catch. Stonebridge Score in the pocket, 2 lengths away. What can I say on a break? Played by Swan goes wide. J-Port Sport impeded, but it's Summit City Nate cruising into the lane. Stonebridge Score just chasing outside. Played by Swan off stride again. Summit City Nate goes coast to coast from Stonebridge Score. Maybe J-Port Sport for third from EL Rock. Then Played by Swan was off stride on the line. Maybe fifth. I can't recall. But Summit City Nate, wire to wire, it's 7-5. I tried to play it where the 9-1 shot wins. You get second.
One of the most ridiculous races I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, you didn't watch the third from the Meadowlands tonight?
No.
I was going to say, you reminded me when you were talking about your horse getting recalled. Bob Davis had a horse where they were recalling him, and then the horse stuck his head under the gate, and he had to keep going with the gate because the wings were still up, and his head was in front of it. And the only thing I could think of was amateur, because it was an amateur race. That wouldn't happen to a professional. Not like Rod Allums Jr.
It happens to everybody, trust me.
He doesn't get to the gate, though, so nothing. So.
1, 2, 5, 4.
Ones I drive aren't fast enough to get there.
So if you just use the inside 5 horses, you get the super high 5. Yeah, because that wouldn't count as a lapped-on break. They wouldn't disqualify the 3.
Did he impede anyone?
Nope. He was on.
No, the only horse that was impeded the whole race was the 5. And it was like 3 different times.
He was impeded at the head of the lane, but don't worry, the horse that impeded him finished behind, so that doesn't make any change.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. Both of the horses that impeded him finished behind him.
We move on from there as I also peek back over to the Meadowlands. And my single made it. $18 pick 4 play alive over at the Meadowlands.
Ray smiling.
I wish I played it. I didn't get a chance to.
You wouldn't have anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked that sequence. I'm alive, and then the last leg, I'm alive to a 7-2 shot, a 15-1 shot, and a 15-1 shot.
Any odds? Like the first 3?
Not yet. I'm waiting for Will Pays right now to see how it's looking.
Okay.
That is a top pick winner in a race that looked like every horse was going to go off stride, and I don't know if they did or not. I'm going to presume that they did. We were still talking about the Mohawk pick 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I just got done with the second leg. We're on to the third leg. Non-winners of 16,000 their last 5 starts. A first 24,000. Field of 8 going postward. And here we are again, Mike, with another horse making that drop in class to try and get a win. This time it's with Nirvana Sealster. Now, to me, this horse seems like he's fast enough to just destroy them, and yet you choose not to single.
No, I mean, can he win? Of course he can. Is he going to be on the front? Yes. But, he's dropping out of preferred. He just hasn't been the same since that 48-1 mile when he beat Lazarus. And, he's been gutted ever since. He's really not been the same and, kind of lost form. Now, will the drop help him? Most likely. But this isn't an easy bunch. I think you can use 3 others. I think Dubious Claim has a chance in the race. That's the 5. This horse has a huge rally, and when he gets a setup, he typically comes flying. He's had kind of tough posts recently. Has faced the top ones. Mongolian Hero's been hot. He's run into that one. Shambhala. I'm thinking that this horse can unleash that kick around the final turn and have a chance, especially if Nirvana Sealster isn't quite what he has been. He's going to have some company in the race, so I'll use him. The 6 Humboldt sort of woke up last time, from the 9 hole at numbers of 25,000. This horse, raced well to be 5th, and made up lengths in the stretch, kicked home in 28. The last 4 races aren't horrible. he just needs a setup also. I like that McNair's back on, and I feel like you're going to get a price again on that one. And then the 7 Avalanche Hanover. This horse won 3 back, coming from off of it. Then had no chance really, 2 back. And last time, closed up to be 3rd against tough ones. He needs a trip, obviously, but he's going to be a price. So I'll try that one too. 1, 5, 6, 7 there.
I want to shout out these Will Pays over at the Meadowlands for the pick 4, the 50-cent pick 4. I'm alive to the 3, 5, and 6. I say I'm alive. I didn't play because I was stupid.
Yeah.
So Mike, you and I are very similar in that way. The 3 Dandy's Beauty, 9-5 favorite for 50 cents would return 175. The 5 Quick Start My Heart is my top pick in the race, 10-1 currently, would return $615. And then the 6 Live Odds would be 1,000. Oof. We'll see how that goes. That race is going in 2 minutes. Rod, though, to you in this pick 4 sequence, you're on Mike's side and spreading out in this race that has, in my opinion, 2 definitive choices. So tell me why either Nirvana Sealster or Fine Diamond will not win this race.
Well, I mean, Fine Diamond is a very hit or miss type. He doesn't win a lot, but he's very close often. So I think he's a used, but there's others that I like in here. The 5 Dubious Claim, I like him. 9-hole last time, had no chance to win that race, so he tossed that one out. 2 starts back, raced very well. He got a really good setup there in a lower class, but this looks like the type of spot where he can flourish if he gets another good second over trip. Some of these horses are better horses, but they're off form, and he doesn't really seem to be off form. Last week, just in a bad spot, and the week before, raced very well. So I think he's a good price play in this race if he can get the right trip. And then I'm also, in addition to the 135, I'm going to use the 6 Humboldt. Like Mike said, he's got a big shot as well. Was too far back last time. He gets a drop in class. Just needs to round back into form a little bit, and he can win this race at a decent price. I don't think you're going to get like 8 or 10-1 like you've seen the last couple weeks with him. You're probably looking closer to 6-1, maybe 5-1. I think. I think he's going to take a little bit more.
What the one's odds are.
Yeah,
I think that's going to depend on the prices of everything else.
Yeah, Nirvana Sealster is the key horse in the race. Obviously, I think you're probably looking. I would say like 3 to 5 would make sense. But
yes, I agree.
But any given night, Nirvana Sealster can go off 1 to 9 in any race. So, I mean, he's been 1 to 9 in the preferred. Yeah, he's been 1 to 9 in the preferred. So,
not recently.
Well, not recently. I'm just saying this is a horse. He takes a lot of money. Sometimes he doesn't take any money, and sometimes he takes a ton of money. So. He's kind of a weird one to gauge odds-wise, but I think he's probably going to be about 3 to 5, and he should be. But my 4 horses there, 1, 3, 5, and 6.
The same can be said about most horses. Nirvana Sealster on that drop in class and on the pure speed factor here is without a doubt the horse to beat. I'm not going to try and get creative and think some of these horses moving up in class will beat him. And I say will because they can beat him, but I don't feel the likelihood is high enough for me to warrant me spreading out in this race. Aside from using the 3 Fine Diamond, who's also been racing up towards that preferred level. Last out, tried to go first over against Tougher. Ended up finishing 7th in that Rockin' in Heaven race. Went into the action as the pace was towards its hottest, and then when they crawled home in that 29 and change final quarter, he went with it and brought back to finish 7th. His move is more so just sitting and waiting, and the only way Nirvana Sealster loses this race is to whoever sits the pocket. That's the way I see it. Nirvana Sealster most likely going to be rootin' tootin' off the gate. Big Bang Boom can possibly show speed too and be a pace factor as well. But I, without a doubt, see Nirvana Sealster trying to get to the front and Fine Diamond trying to secure that 2-hole because that's the only way this favorite loses the race. And from there, I don't really see many other scenarios that are likely enough to be considered value in this sequence. So I'm just gonna chalk out going 1-3, take my chances elsewhere, moving into this final leg of the sequence. That final leg being the 7th race. Another non-winners of 7,500, their last 5 starts event. Another field of, or not this time a field of 9 going postward, excuse me. And once again, big class dropper in the 7 velocity driven. This horse was racing in the preferred 4 starts ago, and now he's in against non-winners of 7,500. Mike, I can see how confident you are in this class dropper because you're 5 deep in this race.
5 deep because the issue with him is he always breaks poor. He's sort of at the mercy of the pace. Yes, he's excellent. I mean, he's won 7 out of 32 this year, 6 out of 40 last year, has made over 100,000. But he's at the mercy of the pace, and we're pretty chalky the first couple legs here. So I'm trying to catch a price. I'll use 4 others. The 2 Rose Run Quest. Last 2 are decent. Beat a horse that was a repeat or 2 back, and then last time ran into Regal Sun. Is it Friday? Yeah, those were tougher than these. Draws well, keeps McClure. I think he's a definite use. The 3 Cool Rock. This horse has had an excellent year. He's made 86,000, 6 wins. He's a 1-punch type. 10-hole last time, no shot. Almost won 2 back, just missed. And he's a bit all or nothing, but when he's good, he's really good. He can beat these. I like Jameson back on him. The 6 Nickelback. He's won over $1 million. When he gets the right setup in the right field right now, he still wins. He proved that 2 back. He should have won 3 back, was driven like crap. And then 4 back, was just moved too late. 9-hole last time, just pitched that. So he's in play. And then the 8 Real, who, won 2 straight at Flamborough. He's starting to round back into form, and he's a nice horse. I like Harris on him. I like the fact that I think he can be close to the pace from this spot. Leafs and Wings was sitting on a win in that race on November 5th. And, this horse is going to go ignored in here, but is capable in class. So 2, 3, 6, 7, 8.
Rod, you're also somewhat deep by somewhat. I mean, you're taking 3. I see 2 horses similar to Mike's, but 1 that isn't.
Yeah, I'm staying inside here. The 2 Rose Run Quest on the class drop is a must-use. You're not getting 6-1 on this horse, as the morning line says. Horse loves to win, is right there every week. A must-use, in my opinion. The 3 Cool Rock. 10-hole last week, you can toss that line out. 2 starts back, came from way off the pace. This looks like a similar spot. Jody jumps back on from Chris Christoforou, and I like the form of this horse. Last week was more just go around the racetrack, let him pace home a little bit. He raced fine. I don't have a problem with the way he raced there, so this one, he's capable of beating better than what he's in with here when he's on his game. He seems to be in decent form. And then the 4, Senior K. I throw this one on for Kyle Fellows and Mike Safdie. Last week, got shuffled back, didn't get room until late, just a bad trip there. 2 starts back, he raced very well, followed cover, ended up finishing 3rd. Against similar, and you go down 4 starts back. He got a perfect setup there, comes 2nd over, flipped 3 wide, and he flipped pretty early, and he ended up winning that race against pretty close to the same class. It was 1 class lower, but the horses in there were about the same as this. I think he can work out the right trip in this race. There looks to be a little bit of early speed here, so I'm thinking the closers are going to do pretty well in this race. So I'm going 2, 3, and 4.
I can't say I'm a big fan of Rose Run Quest purely because 2 starts back, he was in one of those condition races that, to be quite frank, do not grab the best horses on the grounds at Mohawk. And not only that, he is dropping in class. He's decent for a Charlottetown shipper, but in all honesty, not my type. A lot of those wins you see came over at Charlottetown this year in the Invitationals and Birds over there. I stick more towards my class guns here. The 5 Point to My Grandson I start off with. First start shipping up north from Yonkers. This horse left for the lead from post 9, sat pocket, but then never really finished the mile too well. Finished 7th on that sloppy track. I'm going to toss that race completely because, mind you, it was the first start moving up north, and now he's going to make his second start off the ship. He can only improve off of that effort, and not only that, he has a better draw. Still finds a way to lose. There's that common thread again. But maybe he wins this time around. He has the ability to win, but he also likes to come from off the pace, so he's most likely going to be a victim of trip as well. I'm going to be 5, 6, 7 in this last leg, which makes my ticket go as follows. For 20 cents, I'm 4-6 with 1-4-7-8 with 1-3 with 5-6-7. That's $4.80 for 20 cents. Mike, your ticket.
6-7 with 1-3-8 with 1-5-6-7 with 2-3-6-7-8. It's 24.
And Rod.
4-6 with 1-3-4-7-8 with 1-3-5-6 with 2-3-4. It's $24.
All right, those are our tickets. Right now I'm watching this last race from the Meadowlands. I bet the 5 Quick Start My Heart at 15-1. I just need her to get out. Here comes the horse that's going to pay $1,000 in the pick 4, 3 wide now. Oh, boy. Oh, geez. Oh, wow. Are they going to get to the favorite? It's 125 and 2. Oh, geez. Dandy's Beauty. Then on that side, live odds. Can Chiodo get there? Frog Pond Prince.
What? Why didn't you just call the race?
Frog Pond Prince screwing me over at 3-5. This piece of garbage knocks everything out. All my dreams are crushed. The public wins again. I dry out because of all the chalk. I caramba. And guess who gets second? Quick Start My Heart. Oh, boy, I hate this game so much. 54 and 2. Oh, man, I tried. Otherwise, this was an Osceola horse that the only reason you could use him was bad posts. And I'm not that kind of guy.
It's Osceola.
Yeah, but did you watch the trip on the 5 Quick Start My Heart? This horse was tons the best until they let the 7 out. And the 5 gets second. I think he went inside some pylons. Inquiry sign gonna be up. I saw some pylons. I think he knocked a horse out of the race.
I doubt it.
Let's get to the Meadowlands pick 4 for tomorrow before we get too crazy here.
Actually, the 3 might have gotten second. Anyway, yeah, Meadowlands.
Now, this week on North American Update, Ray watches races for his own benefit and ignores the show.
Keep in mind, this is the man who, when we're at our live shows, will just stop paying attention to watch Mohawk Park.
Well, yeah, but at least I'm watching something.
Nothing's stopping you from.
Hey, listen, when you give out 50 to 1s, you can get away with that.
Yeah.
That's true. I've never given out a 50 to 1 in my life. That's not my thing.
We did.
It's not my thing.
No, it kind of is your thing.
I can't win when 3 to 5 shots beat me.
Proud story of my Breeders' Cup. Let's go.
That's Dexter Dunn again. Dexter Dunn keeps beating me. He's going to be done in my book. Okay, you're saying let's go. We have 25 minutes to talk about 4 races. You're acting like that's not a lot of time.
It's not.
My phone could ring at any second.
And yes, and of course a freight train could come east at 16 miles per hour, leaving 7:52 p.m. from the station, come right through my studio window and knock me out. It's possible. It's possible that a horde of hooligans with copious amounts of weapons could stomp through my front door and submit me to Chinese water torture. It's possible. Will it happen? I mean, probably. The likelihood's not that high. For you to get accosted is very high, so we're going to get rolling into this sequence. Meadowlands has a pick 4 tomorrow. Well, they have a pick 4 every card. But they have a $50,000 guaranteed pool starting with the 8th race, I think.
Yep.
Starts with the 8th race, $50,000 guaranteed pool. I'm just waiting to see if there will be any inquiry because my horse got second.
Yeah, there's not.
Here's the worst part.
You've seen it by now.
Here's the worst part. I'm venting right now, and then I'll move on. I played super high 5s and superfectas with the 5 on top. I have all the horses underneath if the 7 does not win. And not only that, that would give me the pool because they just paid it out. I doubt anyone had these horses. The superfecta would have paid nice, and I had 2 to win on him at 15 to 1.
So why not, like, if you like him and he's 15, why not play, like, first and second a little bit there, especially as cheap as you play?
Because I'm not going to play verticals with 3 to 5 on top and spend double the money to risk it paying.
Really, what you're doing is you're keying around the 5. So you're using the 5 with your horses first. With your horses second, but then you put the 5 second by itself, and you're using the horse that you use second first instead. So really, you're playing around the 5. Like, I understand you don't like to key to 3 to 5 on top, but you can key your 5 horse second also and make that play for the same amount of money.
But also, you're forgetting the most important variable in the entire equation, which is that I thought that favorite was a giant pile of garbage.
I understand that. But
I did not like
him second. Did you like him second or no?
No, I liked him for third.
Right, so you didn't like him at all. So then it's a non-issue.
Well, but the 5 almost won the race.
Almost.
And by almost, I mean if the 7 would have just fallen down and couldn't get up, and they had to get the life alert people there. We're getting into a rabbit hole, and this isn't rabbit racing. They shut that down in Florida, from what I heard. Meadowlands. It's a pick 4 that starts with the 8th race tomorrow evening, November 10th, 2018. This 8th race is an hours of $8,500. Their last 5 starts pacing event for a purse of $11,000. Field of 10 going posted here. And Mike, to start things off with you think the sequence starts fairly strong as you're going to take half of them.
Yeah, I'm deep early, and I'm kind of shrunk down late, so I do think this first race is wide open. Numbers of 8,500. You get a lot of horses sort of coming up and coming down. So I do like 5 of them. The One Express Stride. I always like this horse. He dropped last time and kicked 27-2 in a decent race from an outside post. Moves inside, gets Marcus. I'm okay with him here. I think he's worth a use. The 4 K Ryan Blue Chip. Another one very similar, kicked home from the 9-hole last time, 26-2. That's pretty eye-popping there. Gets a driver's switch also. Was racing okay at Lexington and won a race at Hoosier 2-back. So, he's in form. I'm not sure if he's classy enough, but he's worth the use, I think, at a price. The 6, Meet You at Midnight, was racing 30 claimers at Yonkers. Those are tough races. And, gets back to the big track. This horse has a lot of shares this year. 21 out of 35 in the money. Won 7 times last year. Let's see if the big track helps him. Brett Miller lands here also, and I'll use that one. The 8, Seal the Deal. Race numbers at 10,000 from the 7-hole at Yonkers. No shot. Had terrible posts at Monticello. This horse has 5 wins this year and is fast enough. It's going to be a big price, and I like Zeron getting on. And then the 9. What a horse. This horse likes this racetrack, has won here in the past, has won 4 out of the last 5 at the top level at Monticello, and, 9 wins this year. 49-3 mark at the Meadowlands. Another one that's a big price in the race. So 1, 4, 6, 8, 9 to start.
So let's see. Mike has the 1, 4, 6, 8, 9. Rod here has the 2, 12, 19, 84, 1912.
Close.
That's the 1912 I'm reading. Rod, you have a lot of numbers also.
Yeah, I'm 5 deep here as well. The One Express Stride, like Mike said, this one fits well. He gets an inside draw. He should stay closer than he has been his last 2 starts. He's a must-have. And this is a class I think that he fits perfectly in. The 3, Major Authority. I like this horse a little bit. Last week, not real sure what happened. He completely stopped, came to a walk. It was in the slop, so maybe that had something to do with it. I'm not real sure. He doesn't have the back class that some of these other ones have. He's only a 3-year-old. But I think he fits here. He's got the speed. I think he needs to work out a trip. Does not need to be on the front end, but he needs to be close. So I'm going to use him and thinking that he bounces back to what he showed 2 starts back. The 4, K. Ryan Blue Chip, he fits well. Andy Miller jumps on from Brett Miller, who took another horse. But this is second start over the surface. He's got a mark of 49 and change at Lexington. So we know he fits well on the big track. He comes off a very good race last week where he closed from 9th to be 3rd. 26-2 last quarter there. He's a must-play in my opinion. He's going to end up being my top pick in the race. The 7, McThriller, sucked along last week, ended up winning against Cheaper, but you look 2 starts back, he sat towards the back and closed very well. He's in very good form right now. That's why I'm going to throw him on the ticket. The price I may not like very much, but I think he's a use here. And then the 9, What a Horse. I don't have much to add from what Mike said about him. You know, he's got, what has he got, 65 wins in his life? I mean, this is a war horse. He's
What a horse.
Yeah, what a horse. I mean, he's 4 of his last 5 are wins. Must use here. Have to use him. So 1, 3, 4, 7, 9.
You know, Mike, I get what you're saying when you say 25 minutes isn't a lot of time for us to cover these pick 4s because Rod takes 8 years to go over his horses. It's fine.
I took the same amount of time as Mike did. We had 5 horses.
On this show.
I'm only being slightly aggressive in what I'm saying. I mean, 66 wins for What a Horse. I mean, he's a 12-year-old winning those little baby races up in Monticello. I'm gonna take
up there.
I'd rather take some of the bigger boys in this race, like Express Stride. This horse we all like. Inside Draw should race better from the inside. Enough said about that one. K. Ryan Blue Chip, or dare I say, Crying Blue Chip.
No.
Wah. I don't know how that is constructive at all to my reasoning to use this horse. However, he shipped over to the Meadowlands from Hoosier Park in Dayton in that Midwestern circuit. Last week, finished 3rd with a 26-2 final quarter. Thing worth noting about that race, I did the analysis last Saturday for Meadowlands Racetrack, so I watched the races. No one was closing. It was such a front-favoring track most of that night, and to see K. Ryan Blue Chip fire home the way he did, this is something worth noting. From my humble expertise, something worth noting there. A better post this time around. Second start over the surface will definitely help him, no doubt. And then I also use the 8, Seal the Deal, who ships in from Yonkers, where yes, you heard me right. He raced from post 7 last week, and he ended up finishing 4th. Tried to race off cover, just couldn't make up ground. Still came home in 27 and change. Was racing decently over at Monticello. Did lose to What a Horse, but also had worse posts than What a Horse, and raced better in the long run than What a Horse. So I think we should be saying What a Horse is the 8. He can seal the deal better than the 9 can. I guess that's why his name is better. I'm 1-4-8 in the first leg of this pick 4 sequence. I agree that it's a tough race. You could go a variety of ways, but I only have so much money since I lost most of it in that last race at the Meadowlands.
You literally took longer than I did, and you had 3 horses and I had 5.
I was betting on, it's proportional, Rod. I was betting on making all of my money in that last race at the Meadowlands, but Dexter Dunn had to find out what horses I bet, and he just had to win the race. It's all his fault, I bet you. Because if you can't tell by my betting opinion, it's right. I don't know what that means. 9th race is the second leg of this pick 4. We're going to move on with this. Nars of $5,000 in their last 5 starts, the second leg. And once again, Mikey, you're going deep, but this time you're going 4 deep.
4 deep. The One Life happened. You know, this horse raced okay last time. Now it's 8,500. Now drops. Now it's 5,000. Draws well. Top connections. You know, that's a fast race last time this horse comes out of. So we'll try him. The 3, Santiago Style, likes this racetrack. It's a little bit off form, but I think is always in play, especially from the back. I like Brett Miller getting on here. And, you know, I feel like a late rally is, you know, most likely coming. The 4, Rock the Night. Again, another one that drops from hours of 8,500. Race, you know, you said no one was closing. Well, this horse did close in that same race last time as K. Ryan Blue Chip and was 3 wide around the turn. You know, this is Harris Callahan. I expect a short price on this one. I feel like he's going to be bet in the race. And then the 9, Pony Top Boy. This horse has made me quite a bit of money this year. Gets Jingrok, ships in from Vernon, likes this racetrack, has a mark of 50-4 earlier this year. This horse won at a massive price here earlier in the year, and actually he won a couple races here. He fits at this class. I think he's going to be ignored from this post. Yannick should have him in the mix early. 1, 3, 4, 9.
Now you say that like I also don't use the 4 Rock the Night. You noted the exact reason why I use this horse, but before I get to
I can read a program too, Ray.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
'Cause when you've been on this earth as long as I have, Rod, okay, so you have 3 horses in this next leg. You got 30 seconds.
Well, I really don't have a lot to add because I'm using 3 of the 5 that Mike's using. So the 1, Life Happened, Dave Miller, he's got the rail. It's Blake McIntosh, train horse. So the connections are there. I think he fits here. He's a must-play from the inside. The 3, Santiago Style, going from Vinnie Ginsburg to Brett Miller. He's a definite player. He should get away much closer. And then the 4, Rock the Night. He's the obvious horse here in the race. I think he's going to take quite a bit of money, and he's coming off a very good race. Followed crap cover last time, ended up finishing 4th. In my opinion, he's probably going to be the favorite here.
That was actually 35 seconds. I'm sorry. We're going to have to send you home dead. We're going to kill you at the end of this show, push you over a cliff like they do on The Price is Right with the contestants that go $1 over. You also use Rock the Night, dropping in class off the pace effort. As I said earlier, horses last week were not really closing that well. He was one of a few that was, so that's worth noting. And Mike used the other horse that I used, the 9, Bonita Boy, purely because he was racing well at this track earlier in the year. He's coming in from Vernon. He's raced over sloppy tracks. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be, if it's supposed to be sloppy again or not. I was handicapping tonight's card knowing it was going to be sloppy. I haven't checked the forecast for tomorrow. But it's been raining all week. Maybe rain. I don't know. I'm not a weatherologist or whatever they're called, a chemistry teacher.
Meteorologist?
No, that's someone who studies asteroids, you dumb.
No.
Bonita Boy, though, is a smart horse.
Meteors and asteroids are not the same thing, by the way.
Hey, don't be cursing on my show. If you're gonna use that word, they're buttroids, okay? Not asteroids. We don't curse on a family show. You don't see that happening on the Walt Disney.
Who do you like in this damn race?
I just said the 2 horses, and then you got me sidetracked. The 4 and the 9. I only use the 4 and the 9. 49, like the San Francisco soccer team. 10th race. 3rd leg of the sequence, declaiming handicap pace, $10,000 to $15,000, the tag range. And Mike, I see your strategy for this ticket was start wide and narrow in. You're going to go 3 deep again.
3 deep. Show me up. Claimed last time out of that G-Notes claiming type race was 1 to 2 in there. Lost to Cheyenne Raider, who's an old classy speed type horse. Draws perfect again. Last 2 back blasted a 7,500 claimer. Just too obvious to ignore. The 3 Western Toro. This is John McDonald. Just won for $10,000 last time. Racing well at claiming levels and raced well at Vernon also. 7 wins this year out of 20 races. I think a must use. And then I'm going to use the 10 also. Glass Prince gets Marcus. Likes this racetrack. Has been racing upper level claimers. And, 6 wins this year, tons of back class. I like the driver change, and has been racing from outside post. He figures to close in a race filled with speed, so 1, 3, 10.
Rod, does he figure to close in a race filled with speed?
I don't think so.
Correct. But keep going.
For me...
okay, whatever. I'm firing on this horse tomorrow, too.
Well, I think the speed holds up in a race like this.
It could.
The 1, Show Me Up, he's got the inside. You know he's going to go, but how hard does he really have to go off the wings to get away up close? I mean, and the horse doesn't usually like to win that much. He's 3 for 31 on the year. So I expect him to be up close. And with the hike up in class back to the 10 claimers, I think he just fits here. So for me, if I'm betting a horse to win, I'm thinking he's going to get the 2-hole trip. He's going to look for somebody to come cover him up in a horse like the 3 Western Toro, who I'm using as well. John McDonald jumps back on, and he's been razor sharp basically for the last 3 months. And he's a horse that I just cannot not have on the ticket just because he's got early speed. I think these 2 horses are going to both fire out of there along with the 7, but I'm not using the 7. I'm going to use the 5, CC Big Boy Sam, because if they do go at it early, I don't think they're going to go like a 54, 53 half or anything like that. I think it's closer to 55, but CC Big Boy Sam is the horse that I like to come from off the pace here. He'll be following the 4 Magnum Mike because you know Yannick's not going to sit in. This is one that if he's in the right spot, possibly second over, he can win this race. He's got 6 wins on the year, so watch out for him. 135.
I'm sorry. You're 135. I'm also 135. So thanks for speaking up for me. One thing to note with Burke and Gingras this entire meet, their strategy from day one has just been get the lead and wire them. Almost every one of their horses that they team up on, they just send to the front and hope they can go wire to wire. That was especially the case last week. That's most likely to be the case here, as Rod was mentioning. But nonetheless, I still use the 1, 3, and 5. Show me up off the claim. Claims are good. Always. Western Toro won at this level last out. That's good. Always. And then the 5, another masterful piece of naming a horse in this sport. CC Big Boy Sam is one of the best names of any horse I have seen in this sport for a while. And I think then we saw McDave was racing tomorrow night too. So the fact that we got 2 great names in one night makes you should bet this car. You should go bet the lottery. You should go purchase stock in a fire extinguisher company, because I hear that we're going to need a lot of those in the West out there. But CC Big Boy Sam has been favored in his last 2 starts. He won 2 starts back against this group. They upped his tag last out, and then he just didn't finish as well because, like I said last week, hard to close. It's hard to close. But maybe he turns it around this time. That's my conjecture. He's a good horse when he's good. And put that on a poster. I'm 135 in the 3rd leg, final leg, because it's a pick 4. There's only 4 legs. If you want a 5th leg, you're looking for a pick 5. That's earlier in the card. This final leg of the picks 4 sequence is race number 11. Numbers at 3,500 their last 5 starts. It's a bottom level pacing event, and oh boy, this is. I spent a while looking at this race because I was trying to figure out which horses are going to pace, which horses are going to go forward. Most of them look like they're just going to go backwards. So, Mike, I'm assuming you took 2 horses that showed any semblance of form.
Yeah, I'm too deep, and they're mostly class droppers. The 7, Clara B, was racing optional 20s at Yonkers for big pots, and just racing even, not great, but getting checks and making money. Gets the big track back, has a win in 53-1 at this place this year. 10-1 morning line. I would expect it to be about half of that. And I think she's going to have a shot in the race just because everything else is just really kind of off form and lower class level. I don't mind this one. I think the morning line's a little bit off. And then the 9, Oh My Joe Pa, comes in from Vernon. I was racing Class B there, has 7 wins this year, 14 wins last year, likes the big track, and, it's another John McDonald. Rod said how sharp his barn has been. I feel like he could get some speed, last 2 races in the slop also. I think he fits here and, could be ignored from this post, so 7-9.
I'll touch more on Clara B in a second. Rod, you stick more inside. Is there any reasoning by that?
Well, I add an inside horse. I like the 7 and 9, but the 3 Grand Theft, he's dropping in class. He had the 10-hole last week in his first start back at the Big M from Monticello, and with the class drop and the move way inside from where he was last week, I think he fits well. He's coming off a good race. Last quarter, 27 and change. Just needs to be closer, and he's going to be closer. I think he fits. This is a very weak group of horses, and but just based on that last race, he should be right there throughout and have a say in this one at the end. The 7, Clara B, or how do you say it? Bea?
Clara
B, okay.
I like Bea.
BEA, there we go. Clara BEA.
Bea.
Coming over from Yonkers.
Or a blood alcohol content.
Coming over from Yonkers, definitely fits here. Facing tougher horses. Facing tougher at Yonkers. Has a win at the Meadowlands this year in 53 and a piece. I see no reason why she can't be there again against this group. And then the 9, Oh My Joe Pa. We touched on McDonald's Barn already. This one fits and I think is a must-use based on he's been at Vernon in the Class B, which is some pretty tough animals up there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got 7 wins this year. Don't discount this horse. I think you're going to get higher odds than what you see on the morning line at 7-2. You're probably looking closer to 5-1 on him. So make sure you have him on the ticket. I'm 379 there.
Well, much like Saturn and Uranus in the solar system, Rod and I's picks a line again. I'm 379 in this race.
What are the odds that we all like the 7 and 9 here with these morning lines?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing with Clara B. Clara B, if you remember earlier,
Clara Bea.
No,
it's Clara BEA.
It's Clara Bumblebee. She was racing.
B is BEE, not BEA.
No, the DEA is the Drug Enforcement Administration.
This is the Booty Enforcement Administration.
Yeah, so Clara Dia was racing in against, and that was a 16,000 level earlier this year, and it was actually beating some of the top mares on this circuit back in the summer. Now, I understand that that's not necessarily justification for using this horse now in the season, but as Mike said, she was in against Tougher over at Yonkers, racing against numbers at 10,000, now drops into the $3,500 level. Let me just re-clarify, this is the $3,500 level. I'm correct. Drops into the bottom level after racing against numbers at 10,000 on the smaller track. Moved back to the bigger track, which she's shown an affinity for in the past. There's no way you get 10-1 on this horse. If you get 10-1 on this horse, maybe forget the Big Four. Just bet it all on this one. She makes so much sense in this race, and she could make you so much sense if she goes off 10-1. Like 10 million cents, if I'm not mistaken. My math checks out on that. She has so much back class. She has so much form in comparison to most of these horses. I also do use the 9 Oh My Joe Pa. Ships from Vernon. That race, 3 starts here, 3 starts back at the Meadowlands. I'm tossing completely. Was in against tougher horses there in the 15,000 optional. This time around, this group mostly sucks aside from the third horse I use, the 3 Grand Theft, purely on the post switch and the class drop. So really there's 2 reasons to like this horse. Had post 10 last down, now has post 3 this time around, moves in 7 slots to gain all sorts of positioning towards the inside. Last out came home in 27 and change, chasing home McThriller. The fact that he was able to chase horses home and gain position is at least positive. He also probably was most likely not close to the pace because it was hot early on. They went 26 and 3 to the half, or to the quarter, 54 and 3 to the half. So it was a pretty fast pace early. It slowed to the third quarter, and then it picked up again in the lane. So he was able to kick home when the race was also towards near. It was going pretty fast at the end. 379 for me in the last leg, which makes my ticket go as follows for 50 cents. I'm 148 with 49 with 135 with 379. That's $27 for 50 cents. Mike, your ticket.
14689 with 1349 with 1310 with 79. It's $60.
And Rod, your ticket.
13479 with 134 with 135 with 379. It's 67.50.
And just like that, that does it for another edition of North American Harness Update. Back.
We needed all that time to get through that. You didn't think we did.
And you know what? Next week, I think we're just going to make this a 4-hour show just to talk about 3 races. Join us next week for that. And not only that, next week we're also going to be talking about fungus. Is it real? We'll talk more about that along with some other racing funsies, fun events, funsies, other racing action happening across the country as we can spot it happening. And of course, I'll be here. Mike may be here. Rod may be here. Actually, I may be here too. Wait, no, next week I'm not here. It's Rod and Mike next week. Next week I have an improv show. So come to that.
He cancels like mid-show for next week already.
Come. Well, I've had that date booked since September. But
NAHUpicks.com, people.
Yeah, go to NAHUpicks.com for daily racing or racing analysis every race day. Pardon me, from Woodbine Mohawk Park, the Raceway Western Fair District, and the Meadowlands Racetrack. Come to my show if you're going to be nice and not hurt me, or just listen to this show Friday night. Whatever wets your whistle. That said, usually I have something more profound to say at the end, but
Deuces.
But I said but.